Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another video. Thought I would just come on here and have a conversation about our captain, because there's a lot of talk on social media at the moment about what should we do. Should we have sold him in the summer when an offer came in? Obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing for that, but more importantly, the future next season. Should we sell if another offer comes in? Should we keep him? What should we do with him? Because I think it's fair to say it's been a very, very mixed bag this season in terms of his performances. I think that goes without saying, that a lot of you will probably agree with me that it's not been his greatest season. Just finished a stream there earlier on today, and you said that this has been his worst season in a City shirt, and I have to agree. I have to say that it's certainly the most inconsistent I've ever seen. He's doing things that I never thought I'd expect to see him do, things such as being outpaced, lack of effort, and just being a weak link in the defence in general. So we're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about him a little bit here in this video. Do me a massive favour before we get into that. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe if you are new on the road to 10k. Just hit the 8k barrier on the road to 10k, and top line in the description, there is a link to become a channel member. But we'll get into the topic of conversation, and that is our club captain. Now, there's been a lot of mixed opinions recently. We just played Nottingham Forest. Although we won 2-0, it was not comfortable. Defensively, it wasn't great, and a lot of that came down Kyle Walker's side. I thought it was a weak link. Callum Hudson-Odoi had him on strings at times. Their full-back, their left-back, I think his name's Aina. Again, just blitzing past him. I don't understand what that's all about, to be honest. I think that there is huge question marks. There is huge question marks, and some of it comes down to him as a player, but some of it comes down for him as a leader. He's the club captain, but he just doesn't strike me as a leader. I think that's where I'm going to start with this one. That, I want my captain to be a leader. I want to be able to rely on my captain, to be able to look at him and, when players are losing their heads or things getting out of hand and there's a bit of emotion creeping into the game, I want my captain to calm things down, be a leader in terms of by example, by performances, and just be a leader in terms of, general things, telling people what to do, being calm, taking responsibility. I don't really see too much of that. There was a quote earlier on in the season, I think, from Kyle Walker saying he didn't think he'd be playing that bad. He's not taking responsibility for his own performances. He doesn't just strike me as a natural leader anyway, in terms of just leadership qualities. He's not my first choice of captain. There are natural leaders that we have in this squad. I'd look at Kevin De Bruyne as a leader just because of the example and the standards that he sets. I look at Ruben Diaz as a natural leader. He commands respect. He knows what he's doing. He's organised. He gets people organised. He holds himself and others accountable. Even through poor performances, he's still a leader in that defence. With Kyle Walker, I just don't see it in terms of club captain. I'm not saying that he should never wear the armband. Of course, he is one of the more experienced players in the squad. He's still part of that leadership group. I think that should stay. But in my personal opinion, if we're to keep this guy, which I have no problems with keeping him, in the right circumstances, I have no problems with keeping him. But I wouldn't have him captain or vice captain next season. I really wouldn't. I'd take it off him. I don't think he's dealt with it well. We've seen, to use an example, I don't think it's the same. It might not even be remotely similar, but you look across the pond, Manchester United, Harry Maguire, he took that United captain's armband, did absolute nightmares for him. Performances went down, people were calling him all sorts of names and questioning his place in the England squad and all things like that. They took the captain's armband off him, and he's, as United fans, he's not actually been that bad. He's not been bad whatsoever since he's lost the captain's armband. Maybe that'll be a thing with Kyle Walker, where he gets the responsibility taken away from him and he can just focus on his football, focus on his performances, and maybe that'll, be a benefit to him. So that'll be one of my sort of things to try and keep him around, where I just wouldn't have him as captain. I just don't think he's captain material. And then we just move on to the performances. I mean, what sums up Kyle Walker's season more from inconsistency-wise than being almost man of the match against Brighton, 2 assists, to being just a total weak link against Nottingham Forest the very next game on the weekend. I mean, that sums it up for me. It's just far too inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get. He performs really well against the good wingers for some reason. Like, he played second half against Real Madrid at home, and the extra time played really well. Locked down Vinicius. Vinicius ended up going off. So did Rodrigo. He played pretty well for the most part. He actually recovered quite nicely in that game, but it's almost like he just can't get himself up for these lower games. These Forest, which only Callum Hudson and he doesn't look like he can get up for it. He was getting outpaced. When does Kyle Walker get outpaced? Is it lack of effort because of opposition? Is it lack of care because of opposition? Or is it his age? If he's not got the pace to deal with it anymore, that's taking a massive asset out of his game. And it, makes him substantially worse, and you can't rely on him if he's going to regress, which... I've got his transfer marked up in front of me. He's 33. He's going to be 34 next month. Like, I expect a regression, but if that happens, then a lot of his game relies on pace. So, if he loses that, gotta think about maybe getting rid of him, which is why we're having the conversation, because he's been a liability. He has. This season, he's been a liability. He's not been trustworthy. I think the biggest thing in terms of inconsistency and not reliable is he was fit for the second leg against Real Madrid. And, in normal circumstances, you tell me at the start of this season that we play Real Madrid in the Champions League again, would I play Kyle Walker? 100% I'd play Kyle Walker. Got Vinicius, Rodrigo, these danger players. I'd play Kyle Walker. But the fact that a few nights before that Real Madrid game, when Kyle Walker was deemed fit to play, we were still 50-50 on whether we would actually play him or not. I think that speaks volumes to his season. And I think that's the point where we're at, where we can't trust him to perform. He might play well. He might, cost us a goal. He should have cost us against Forest. If Forest actually decided to take their chances and we, drop points in that game and essentially throw away a Premier League title because it would no longer be in our hands, then... Kyle Walker gets a massive blame, and again, you're looking at him and going, what's the future? So I guess that's the question to you, is you are in charge, hypothetically, you are in charge. What do you do with Kyle Walker? Do you keep hold of him for another season and then just go on season-by-season basis to see, how he performs? Are there circumstances, like I said, where in my mind you take the captain's armband off him, you rely on him less, he doesn't play in, a lot of games, he comes out when you need them, in these, Real Madrid ties, things like that, where there's a good winger and you can, hang your hat on him to lock him down. I think if we do that, take the captain's armband off him, save him for these special occasions, he doesn't play as much as he did this season, he's not as heavily relied upon, I have no problems with keeping him. I really don't. He's an experienced member of the squad. He's a winner. Why would I not want to keep a winner around? It's just that if we're going to have this thing, maybe it's a contractual thing with his new contract to try and keep him, when Bayern came in from him, I don't know. But if he's going to be the captain or vice captain and playing every single week, I'd rather we cut our losses. Because it makes us play worse. He's a weak link. He's an evident weak link. People are attacking him now, thinking that they can get at him. So that's my thoughts. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. Would you keep him? Would you sell him? In what circumstances for either? Well, that's kind of it for this video. It's kind of an interesting conversation. It's one that needs to be had, though, because when we're talking about a rebuild and, refreshing the squad, he comes into that conversation because of his age. So that's my opinions on it. You let me know yours, like I said, in the comment section down below. If you do me a massive favour, on your way out of this video, please leave a like. It's massively appreciated. And subscribe if you are new on the road to 10k. I'll see you tomorrow with a live stream.